Hey, welcome back to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so you can easily choose the best watch for yourself in the comfort of your own home, or for the lowest prices anywhere online. If you'd like to know the price, simply click on the links in the description below. We greatly appreciate if you purchase your next watch from us at JazzTime.com. Today we'll be going over an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, reference number 15500ST.OO.1220ST.02. The 02 meaning that it is the Grande Tapisserie Slate Grey Dial. Alright, we'll be doing an unboxing first, and I'll be going over the case, dial, the crown functions, as well as the bezel, the movement, and the bracelet, and I'll be giving you my thoughts on all of these throughout the video, and why I think this is kind of an interesting watch that you should seriously consider picking up if you're a fan of Audemars Piguet Royal Oak models. Alright, so opening it up, we have a very nice sort of paper texture box on the outside, a deep green color. Alright, and on the inside here, underneath the box, we have the papers, the warranty on the inside there. Alright, and here we have the box itself on a nice high polish sort of green wooden look, fully smooth high polished texture on it. Alright, and on the inside, here we have the watch itself on this little pillow. Alright, so I can set this aside now, since this is what we're talking about today. The Royal Oak. Actually, let me close this properly and nicely. Alright, and there we go. Taking the safety plastic coverings off, as well as the sticker on the outside here. Okay, now here is the watch that we've been looking for, this gray slate Grande Tapisserie dial from Audemars Piguet on the Royal Oak. Right, as you can see, this is a 41mm case size with a thickness of 10.4 millimeters, and I measured 50 millimeters lug to lug. Right, and we also have this entirely in stainless steel, as you can see, with the exhibition case back, meaning that the case back is open for you to see the movement on the inside. All right, taking a look at the front of the case, we also have this satin brush finishing, as you can see, along with the side of the case sort of all matching in direction from top to bottom, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, or 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Same with the bezel, although the bezel does have this nice high polish on the first bevel, as you can see on the inside here, sort of giving it that sort of a elevated sort of separation of that bezel from the rest of the case. Also, as you can see on this bezel, as is typical of all Audemars Piguet watches, at least the Royal Oak and offshores, there are these hexagonal screws, 8 in total, with their slots sort of facing each other in this concentric pattern, giving it that gestalt visual perception of closure, where you can just simply connect all the dots very easily to make this perfect circle. It also helps that the bezel is circular on the inside, rounded octagonal on the outside. Okay, now taking a look at the dial now. This is sort of what sets it apart from all the other watches within its own category, the 15500s. You also have the option of the black Grande Tapisserie, the white, as well as the blue, and this one would be the fourth, the gray. You also have a version of this watch, same exact size, but in yellow gold with a black dial. That's another option for you there. But this dial, I believe, is actually what I consider to be a true neutral. What does that mean? It means that it's not quite as polarizing as the black or the white color dial faces. The blue is much more of a shade and is also a cool color. That means it sort of recedes into the background a little bit more, whereas with your white dial, that tends to sort of bring it out toward the forefront. You wear it with a dark suit, people will notice the white dial. You have a black dial variation, that one sort of recedes into the background a little bit more than the blue, which then sort of blends in more with a dark suit. And even so, if you wear a light suit or a white suit even, it would recess even more into the background. And, you know, depending on the viewer, it could actually attract more attention in that regard. But when you have a gray dial, a slate gray dial, you also have this sort of sense that it sort of hangs out somewhere in the middle. It's not too contrasty with whatever you happen to wear, which means that this is a true neutral, meaning you can wear this with just about anything, because the contrast between this dial and the rest of the case is hardly there. It basically matches the stainless steel overall look. Even the 18 karat white gold just sort of blends in very nicely with that sunray patterning on there, with the guilloche patterning as well. That makes it that sunray pattern. And also having that gray dial just blending in entirely with this, with the case, makes it so that even the dial itself will not have that high of a contrast with whatever you happen to be wearing. Even if you're wearing colored clothing, black suit, or even a white suit, the contrast is not so great that it would attract that much attention. And in this day and age, it's actually not that bad to have an excellent watch that does not attract that much attention, because that means this is a watch that you can wear every day, something that you can wear anywhere. Whereas if you were to wear, say, the gold version of this watch, the 41mm Royal Oak with the black dial, I would more wear that around special events or very important meetings, where having that wrist presence in the aesthetics and the size will actually help get your point across. Whereas something like this, a little bit more neutral, well, the absolute neutral color scheme and neutral overall presence just sort of makes it a very comfortable everyday wear watch. And that's all because of this dial. Okay, now taking a look at how all of it works here, we also have the index hour markers, and also take a note that on this model we have the date aperture directly at the 3 o'clock. It is taking up the entire space of that 3 o'clock index marker. As you can see when I turn out the lights here, that luminescence that's applied to all of these index markers is not applied to the 3. That's because there's simply not one there, and there's only on the minute and the hour hands, as you can see there. All right, nice and bright, and it actually lasts for quite a while. So that's a really good extra feature to have on your Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Counterweight on the seconds hand also matches the overall aesthetic of the minute and hour hands, the Royal Oak hands as they're called. Okay, now taking a look at the functions here. Simply unwind the crown at the 3 o'clock position. This allows you to wind the watch. All right, about 20 to 30 full winds is all you really need to get the watch from a dead stop to its full power reserve. Nice and easy. Pull out to the next position. You can turn it it's about a quarter turn. Very comfortable turn overall to advance the date by 1. And you can actually feel that little haptic click as it switches over to the next day. All right. Rather easy. So if you find yourself on the 30th of the month, simply just do a quarter turn and you'll be on the 31st, and then right after that the 1st of the next month. So very easy to do so there. Pull the crown out to the final position, and also note that the seconds hand actually stops. A very good use, a very good function from a watch brand that's been around for quite a bit. All right, you can then move the minute hand and adjust it and place it precisely wherever you want to put it. All right, and now you can press the crown in and it will start up that seconds hand once more. All right, simply wind it nice and tight against the case to ensure that superior water resistance of 50 meters. I wouldn't take this past surface swimmable, certainly not deep diving. All right, but that's because there's not too many gaskets in place to really keep this superior, absolute crazy watertight. This is more for, again, surface swimming, not so much for, deep diving again. All right, now, what makes all of this work? It is the caliber made in-house by Audemars Piguet, the caliber 4302. It has the hours, minutes, center seconds, and the date with the stop seconds for precise time setting. It also has a 32mm total diameter, which is what actually allows for that date window to be so far out to the side, so much as to actually take up the entire 3 o'clock position, because on the previous model, the 15400, the the movement itself was actually smaller, and therefore the date aperture could not actually reach the very edge of the dial. So it had to be placed a little bit more inward, and they actually incorporated the 3 o'clock index marker for the older model. This is the newer model, the 15500. All right, again, 32 millimeters in diameter, as you can see of this movement. It takes up the entire visible area of that case, the exhibition case back, as you can see, with the winding rotor, as you can see on the inside. Okay, the winding rotor is also 22 karat yellow gold, and it also has a total power reserve of 70 hours. That's nearly 3 whole days. So you can set this down on a Friday evening, pick it back up on a Monday morning, ready to conduct business, and it'll be keeping track of time just fine. No need to wind the watch. Also, speaking of tracking time, it also beats at a frequency of 4 Hertz or 28,800 vibrations per hour. That's a higher beat rate than many other older Audemars Piguet watches that vibrate at 21,600 vibrations per hour, which is 3 Hertz. Not quite as precise, but still keeping track of time. This one is just that much more precise. It matches Rolex, matches Omega, and all the other high name brand manufacturers as well. Okay, so also keep in mind that the rotor on the inside is that bidirectional self-winding rotor, so you can simply wind the crown to the fullest, and simply wearing it on your wrist will keep it wound to that full 70-hour power reserve. All right, no need to wind the watch manually. All right, now taking a look at the framing here, we also have the bracelet here, also in stainless steel. High polish on the very insides of these links here, as you can see, in the spacing between the links, as well as even on these intermediary links. If I can zoom in there, the intermediary links have that high polish on the inside. If you flatten it out, you won't see it quite as much, and you'll actually get much more of that satin brush finishing, and that just continues throughout the entire bracelet. All right, and you also have a good sense of space among all of these links, so that it's very easy to wear, very breathable as well. So you can take this, again, you can take this swimming, surface swimmable, or you can even take it out jogging if you absolutely must, and your wrist won't have any sort of issue with the venting or breathing because there's plenty of space to go around. And also, it's a very nice satin brush finishing on the sides, as well as the underneath of these links as well, with a high polish on that corner bevel. As you can see, that gives these links sort of like a glowing outlined look, as you can see. All right, now moving down to the clasp here, we have the AP folding clasp, a double deployment. So it has a button deployment system. Simply press both sides and it opens up nice and easy with the AP logo to go on the top. The double deployment makes it much easier for slim wrists and tighter, more snug fits, so that you have much less of a chance of pinching yourself. All right, and while we're here, I can actually try it on and give you some of my thoughts as to how it feels on the wrist. All right, and remember, when you are putting it on, would you like to focus, camera? Okay. All right, when you are putting it on, place it the top first, so that the bottom with the logo can go on second and on top. There you go. Now this watch is not sized. This is all the links on here. So, all right, now on my wrist, 7-inch wrist all the way around, the 41 millimeter diameter and therefore 50 millimeter lug to lug distance does make it seem a little bit big on me. It certainly has that wrist presence. So if you have a small wrist or average size wrist like I do, you could go for one of these because it does have that literal wrist presence in terms of size. When it comes to the aesthetic, not quite as much, because this is a gray dial, the true neutral that goes with literally anything that you can wear. All right, now note, I'm wearing a yellow jacket, all right? So there's not that much contrast there, and that's just perfectly fine for me, because I do like having something that I can wear that isn't exactly flashy, something that I can wear every day that is not going to just attract attention from literally anywhere in the room. All right, this is more a subtlety, a subtle piece, a subtle timepiece, luxury timepiece that you can get from us at jazztime.com, by the way. All right, when it comes to the overall sort of feel of this watch, very comfortable. Audemars Piguet certainly has it down You know, they know how to make these links feel extremely comfortable, very supple on the wrist, extremely smooth, and with the double deployment clasp makes it extremely comfortable as well. It's very form-fitting. All right, so they have certainly done their R&D, research and development in that regard. All right, so I don't mind that there's a little bit of space underneath these lugs because, again, you do have more of that venting underneath these lugs. That allows the wrist to just breathe even more. It's very nice in that respect. And at 10.4 millimeter thickness, you can't go wrong with that. It will slide easily under a suit cuff, any cuff. It will slip under nice and easy, especially with that nice domed bevel. Okay, so anyway, when it comes to this watch, I find it hard to find much of a comparison other than, you know, the other watches within its sort of model range, the black, white, and the blue dials. But I think that this one, being the true neutral, can actually be literally just about anyone's everyday wear watch, assuming that you can afford the 35K current market price, right? At least as of the first or second quarter of 2021, all right? Assuming that you can afford that, this is certainly within that range and something that you can wear literally every day, anywhere. Even for, you know, more formal occasions, it does have that subtlety, that elegance that you can simply expect from Audemars Piguet very easily. All right, so anyway, enough of what I think. What do you guys think about this watch? Let us know down in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like as it helps us out. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified when we go live with another video like this one. And as always, if you'd like to purchase this watch or any other watch, visit us on our website, jazztime.com. Links in the description below. We'll see you in the next one. Take care of each other.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.